Hello friends, I am Professor Maitre. Welcome you all. Today we will start our new subject concrete technology having subject code 22305. Let us see the teaching and examination scheme for the subject. Here we can see the in teaching scheme three lectures allotted per week and 2 hours for practical. So total credit of 5 hours per week is given. In examination scheme, it is divided into theory and practicals. Theory again divided into end semester exam and progressive assessment, that is PA. In end semester exam, MSBT taken 70 marks paper at last, having the duration of 3 hours, from which you have to score minimum 28 marks, and in progressive assessment this 30 marks is allotted for micro project plus class test 1 and class test 2 average marks. So from this we have to score minimum 12 marks, though here we have to see the minimum marks is 0, but if you not score the minimum 12 marks, your passing will be changed out of 70 marks. For example, if you got the minimum marks of 8 marks out of 30, so the passing out of 70 is your 32 marks. So the 100 marks is given for theory, from which you have to score minimum 40 marks, that is minimum 12 mark in PA and minimum 28 mark from end semester exam. Then the practical again divided into end semester exam and progressive assessment. In end semester exam, 25 marks are allotted to the external practicals. This is taken by the external examiner, which is allotted by the MSBT. And progressive assessment, this 25 marks is allotted for your term work, that is lab manual or assignments. So the total weightage of this subject is 150 marks. So let us see the course outcome, means what are you achieved after this course, after studying this course. So let us see one by one the course outcome. First is use of relevant types of cement of in different site condition, means you should be able to use the different types of cement in different site conditions. Second one is use of relevant aggregate for required concrete works, aggregate quality or the various practicals conducted on aggregates for quality check you should be know. Next, you should be able to prepare the concrete of desired compressive strength, means if you have to prepare the concrete of M20 concrete, means 20 is the characteristic strength of that concrete. So you should be able to design that concrete using the your knowledge of these subjects, okay, or this unit. Next is you should be able to prepare the concrete of required specification, then maintain the quality of concrete, and lastly use relevant admixture for concreting for different weather conditions. So after studying this subject you should be achieve these all 6 course outcomes. Okay, so let us start with our first unit, cement. The weightage of unit is 6 mark and we have to complete it in 4 hours. So let us see the what are the points we are discussing or we are studying this unit. So first, manufacturing process of cement. There are two methods of manufacturing of process, that is wet process and dry process. Okay. Next one is the chemical constituents of ordinary Portland cements. Then box compound. This is very much important point, box compound. Next one is the physical properties of compound, then hydration of cement, physical properties of cement, then the different grades of OPC, that is ordinary Portland cement, that is 33 grade OPC, 43 grade OPC and 53 grade OPC. Then the testing of OPC, that is laboratory test and field test conducted on OPC. Then storage of cement, then adulteration of cement and the different types of cements. So let us see first introduction to the cement. What is mean by cement? The cement is a substance that acts as a binding agent for a different materials. So cement is invented and patented by the Joseph Aspdin from England. and this name Portland cement is derived from the similarity to Portland stone which was quarried on the Iceland of the Portland of England. So basically in construction industry it is material which is produced by calcining at a high temperature and intimate mixture of calcareous and argillaceous materials and crushing the resulting clinkers to a fine powder we can call as cement. Calcareous material means limestone or chalk, or argillaceous material means clay or shale. Okay, so we are producing the cement by using the calcareous and argillaceous material mixture. Okay, that is limestone and clay. Next is the function. What is the function of cement? The function of cement is when it is mixed with water, it forms a paste which hardens and binds the aggregate together to form a hard durable mass called as concrete. So the function of cement is what? It is act as a binding material. Okay, so the hard durable mass, that is concrete, is formed. So next is the manufacturing process of cement. So let us see how we can manufacture the cement. It consists of grinding the raw materials, that is limestone and clay, mixing them intimately in a certain proportions and burning them in a kiln at a temperature of about 1300 to 1500 degrees Celsius, at which material sinters and fuses to form a nodular shaped clinkers. These clinkers is cooled and ground to a fine powder which is grey one with addition of about 2 to 3% of gypsum. This product we can call as Portland cement. Okay, so there are generally two methods of manufacturing of cement, that is wet process and dry process. So let us see what is wet process. Here this flowchart shows the wet process. Here first clay, that is argillaceous material, and the limestone, that is calcareous material. Firstly, this clay is washed with water, that is 35 to 50% of water is used to wash this clay in wash mill, and after that this clay is stored in basins. Then limestone is crushed and again it's stored in basin. Then these both clay and limestones are grind with the to make a slurry. Okay, so after making this slurry, this blended to a correct compositions. Okay, means the correct composition, whether the lime is 60 to 67% or not, these all check in this particular section, and then this corrected slurry is stored in again store basins. Then this corrected slurry is fed into the rotary kiln. For that rotary kiln, the fuel is used by powder coal or oil or gas. So the temperature of this rotary kiln is about 1300 to 1500 degrees Celsius. Okay. After that, this slurry is converted, due to this high temperature. This slurry is converted into the clinkers. Okay. Clinkers means the ball shape, nodular shape clinkers is there. Okay. And then this clinkers is ground or crush into the ball mill. Okay, in this ball mill there are steel balls which are crushed these clinkers with addition of 2 to 3% of gypsum. Okay, then these uh, then the powder is formed. This powder we can call as cement, and this store in the cement silos, and after that it goes to the packaging plant. So this is the wet process. Here we can see the wet process by the image. Here we can see the clay, chalk or limestone is there. Wash mill, clay is washed in wash mill. Then this clay slurry and the limestone slurry or chalk slurry is blended into this portion. Then this goes to the rotary kiln. The temperature of rotary kiln is 1300 to 1500 degrees Celsius. Then it forms a nodular shaped clinkers. Then clinkers and addition of gypsum is ground into the ball mill, and the cement is formed of color grayish green. Okay, then these store in a cement silos, and after that it goes to the packaging plant. So this is the wet process of manufacturing of cement. Okay, this is the dye process of the manufacturing of cement. There is not much difference in this process. Here we are not wash the raw materials. We are directly uh, fed into the rotary kiln. Due to this, the what we can say, the cost is less as, or energy consumption is less as compared to the wet process, but the quality product form in a wet process. Okay, that is no dust is there, but here uh, quality product is not as compared to the wet process, but we are generally use the dry process for the manufacturing of cement. So next point is the chemical constituents of the ordinary Portland cement. So let us see what are the chemical constituents. First is lime, that is calcium oxide. It is up to 60 to 67% in ordinary Portland cement. Okay. Then silica, SiO2. Okay. This is 17 to 25% in the cement. Then alumina, Al2O3, that is 3 to 8% into the cement. Then iron oxide, Fe2O3, 0.5 to 6%. Then magnesia, that is MgO, 0.1 to 4%. Then sulfur trioxide, SO3, that is 1 to 3%. And lastly soda or the potash, that is Na2O or K2O, that is 0.5 to 1.3%. So these all chemical constituents are included in ordinary Portland cement. This is the percentage of the that constituents in ordinary Portland cement. By varying this percentage of cement, we can form the different types of cements. Okay. So next point is Box compound. So what is Box compound? Box compound is formed when water is mixed with cement. The ingredients of the cement reacts with each other with the help of water and forms a more complex compound. Okay, so these more complex compound we can call as Box compound. So what are those complex compound? Let us see. First is tricalcium silicate, second is dicalcium silicate, third one is tricalcium aluminate, and lastly tetracalcium aluminoferrite. Here the formula is given of these compounds. This is abbreviated form of this compound and the percentage in ordinary Portland cement. So first, that is tricalcium silicated, generally we are calling as C3S. Okay, abbreviated form, that is 3 means tri, C means calcium, and S means silicate, that is tricalcium silicate. Okay, we are generally using these abbreviations for indicating these compounds. So second is dicalcium silicate, that is C2S, that is dicalcium silicate. It is 16.6% in ordinary Portland cement. Next is tricalcium aluminate, 10.8% in ordinary Portland cement. And lastly tetracalcium aluminoferrite, that is C4AF, that is 9.1% in ordinary Portland cement. So next is the physical properties of compound, that is Box compound. First one is the tricalcium silicate, that is C3S. It is responsible for the early strength of concrete. First 7-day strength is due to what? This C3S. It produces more heat of hydration, and a cement with more C3S content is better for the cold weather concreting. Second one is the dicalcium silicate, that is C2S. It the hydration of this C2S start after the 7 days, hence it gives the strength after 7 days. C2S hydrates and hardens slowly and provide much of the ultimate strength. It is responsible for lateral strength of concrete. It produces less heat of hydration. Next is the tricalcium aluminate. It is responsible for setting action of the cement. That is, the reaction of C3A with water is very fast and may lead to an immediate stiffening of paste, and this process is termed as flash set. To prevent this flash set, we use the 2 to 3% gypsum at the time of grinding of the cement clinkers. Then this hydrate C3 do not contribute to the strength of concrete. it is only responsible for setting action of the cement. Next is the tetracalcium aluminoferrite, that is C4AF. It is inactive compound. C4AF hydrates rapidly. It does not contribute to the strength of the concrete. The hydrates of C4AF shows a comparatively higher resistance to sulfate attack than the hydrates of C3A. So this is all physical properties of the compound. Hope so you will understand today's session. In next session we are study the hydration of cement